It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and it's Walkabout Wednesday in my backyard succulent garden. And it is early April. It's the 6th. And also, thank you all so much for the lovely birthday and anniversary wishes. Greg and I share the same birthday on April 5th, and we got married 38 years ago. So we had a really fun but quiet celebration yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed all of your well wishes. So thank you so much. It is such a beautiful time in my garden. It will continue to get even better over the next 30 to 45 days before it starts to get, really hot. So I'm in the honeymoon phase right now, like with my Rowleyana string of pearls. These get a little thrashed here in the heat of the summer. But right now, they're remind me, guys, when I'm lamenting them and wanting to take them out, that they look good at least half to 3/4 of the year. And the Sedum Morganianum Burrows tails, oh my goodness, they're blooming. Just so pretty. Love me that plant. Love these gutters. I have done nothing to these gutters since last year. And I can see there's a few little gaps here that I could fill, which I will, because that will be really, really fun. But overall, they have held up so beautifully. My euphorbias and my mammillaria, looking really, really good. This little euphorbia that a client gave Hannah to give me, and she kept it in her apartment, and it lost all its leaves and then made a comeback. Lost all its leaves again over winter, but I have a feeling that it's going to leaf out here anytime. This is a really tricky time for plants like this that are still technically dormant but are getting ready to wake up. Sometimes you can stimulate new growth by giving them a little drink, but if you do that prematurely, you could rot the plant. So you really have to be careful with that. All of this rubra down here, these are just little sedums that fell out of the gutters, have all taken root and are looking quite festive. We'll see how that goes. I'll allow it up to a point. This really cool euphorbia here is starting to really wake up from its winter dormancy. Got a really wonderful red flower and some real shiny green leaves. Just looking so great. My new Euphorbia Trigona. Remember, I took the one that was in the pot and donated it to my Pacific Beach client because I needed more height. And the one that I had bought for them, I put in this pot. And it's looking super duper. Pringly eyes still aren't really pringly eyeing yet. My Pilosoceras Juris threw off some really cool flowers this winter and is just looking terrific. All of my little collectibles and my collectible station are looking great. Super happy with them. Look at that Euphorbia pit, my pin cushion and my lithops. And look at the big flower that's getting ready to pop off of this cactus. Yeah, just super happy with all of these. This was just an assortment of leftovers that I put in this little concrete planter. Some little random aloes and a falcata and more of that sedum. This pot of succulents under the bougainvillea is living its best life right now. And if you have snails eating your aeoniums, make sure that you treat for that. I like Bugetta. Sluggo also is a good product, or you can just mechanically pick them off. But they will decimate your plants if you don't get on top of it. Won't kill them, but cosmetically they'll just chew them up and make them look like crap. Yeah, this is another plant, Aluaudia procera. This is one, all of you, the leaves might be, you might not have any leaves on your Aluaudias right now. And if you are living in Southern California, now would probably be a good time to start offering your Aluaudia some water to stimulate some new growth. Oh gosh, it's just stupid gorgeous out here. The Brugmansia is in full leaf. I should have some blooms in the next couple of weeks. Wouldn't that be something if that was going off right now too, along with everything else? My Calleandra is blooming. This is a plant that the birds just dropped the seed, and it's Greg's favorite, so I let it go. And most of the time in my garden you can't see it because you can see that I have some plants at the base that cover it up, which is good because the plant's not that cute, but the flowers are spectacular. I've got a little bougainvillea branch sticking out from the Crassula undulata that's getting ready to bloom hot pink, and that makes my heart happy. Oh my gosh, and a rarity in my garden, it looks like my pink bougainvillea and my Barbara Karsh red bougainvillea are actually going to go off at the same time for once, so that's exciting news. Over here, this mammillaria, I think this one might have rotted. See, it just kind of collapsed on itself, and it's turned a little bit brown, and it's a little bit squishy to the touch, so I might have to operate on this and remove this one from the herd, which is unfortunate. But we did get some copious amounts of rain a few weeks ago. I was meeting with a client today, going over their next phase, the Coral Reef Project, University City. We're going to be doing another phase there. And I was looking over the installation that we put in last year, and he had a couple of casualties, plants, a Kalanchoe or Gialis, for example, that was really pouting. And it looks like what had happened is it had an event, meaning it got rained on at the wrong time. It wasn't that it was sitting in water, it was too wet, or the irrigation needed to be corrected. It just rained at the wrong time for that plant, and it struggled, but it is making a comeback. There's a lot of new growth on it. So if you have plants that look like they rotted, or they just look really, really sad, or they're mushy to the touch, if there's any way that you can extract the mushy parts, like if it's a branch or a leaf, and take that off and cut down till you see healthy tissue, there's a very good chance that the plant is salvageable if you just remove the dead wood. My Aluaudia procera, my big boy, you can see that I've got some yellow leaves and I've got some bare spots on it. And this is just from irregular water. I don't water this plant on purpose. And it's coming out of winter dormancy. And it looks a little, sad right now. But it will all be in leaf here within the next few weeks, I can assure you. And, yeah, so back against the prison wall, that's coming along really nicely for the most part. Remember back in pandemic time, I wanted to get things to grow up to meet the bougainvillea coming down, and everything that I planted in here is doing well. It's all, slowly but surely growing up and looking really full, and I'm very, very pleased with this right now. I just recently planted a couple of agave ray of light that were left over from a project. I had just a foxtail pup in here, but the foxtails get really, really big, and it was not a sustainable spot for it. So I pulled that pup out and I put the ray of lights in because these grow much slower, and I also, of course, love the variegation. So that was something that I did yesterday when I was out here puttering on my birthday. Let's see. Oh yeah, I promised you that we would pull a mystery plant out to put over where I took that euphorbia out yesterday in the trash can garden. And here it is. When I was out here cleaning up and removing all of the spent crap that was here, I uncovered this rum runner, this agave rum runner. I don't even remember putting this here, but it's completely lost in this spot. So we're going to move it. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? And I mean, the spot that I pulled it out of is a great place just to put little, you know, little cute little sedum rosettes, you know, or something else that's purple, maybe an echeveria. But this rum runner deserves to be in a better place. And over there in the trash can area, remember, that's kind of my holding pattern too for potential adopted plants that I can put out for adoption. So this is a favorite of mine. I love the way this agave grows. It stays really small and well behaved. So let's go pop it in, shall we? Fun! And on the way, do note how the wisteria is just doing exactly what I ask of her. West is that way, over there. Over there. Show them west. That's west. Okay, so the winds, the trade winds blow, you know, in mostly, unless we have a Santa Ana, the wind kind of blows this way, so it's pushed this wisteria over this way and created this natural umbrella for my fountain. And I just think that is a little nature's miracle. So happy with that. And remember, when I cut back the roses a little late in the season and I was afraid I might have waited too long, I think we're going to be okay. There are a tremendous amount of buds all over my Eden climbing roses. So within the next few weeks, by the end of April, first part of May, I'm hoping that this thing will just be flush with roses. And I keep threatening to rework my raised bed, but gosh darn it, guys, I mean, every time I look at it, something's going on and I just don't have the heart to mess with it. Right now it's the Ruchia. Look at that, how pretty those pink flowers are. I mean, everything in here just looks really, really good right now. My crest is cresting magnificently. I just don't want to mess with it. I've been enjoying this so much. And then our trash can slash, oh, hi there, little lizard. Our trash can area slash tapestry slash garden of death slash holding pen is starting to take on a really interesting life of its own. And we're just going to make it that much better by popping in this agave rum runner in the spot where I took out that euphorbia. Let me see if I can shake off some of the detritus. Ugh. That's another thing where it was. It got all the bougainvillea drop, and it got little pods on it from the conifer tree over in the open space. I am so sorry, Mr. Run Runner. You poor thing. Well, you're going to be so happy here, basking in the sun. And it's just going to keep throwing off little pups like this. Now, this is one that I wouldn't depup because this is how this plant grows. It just throws off pups real close to mom and gets wider and wider over time. And it's a really, really pretty, variegated, low, well-behaved agave. Yeah. Okay, love that. Then you all are such design geniuses. I was asking you about my rusty tractor seat, and you said, why don't you hang it on the blue trellis? Duh, yes, thank you guys. So I hung it on the blue trellis, and I'm really happy with it there. You also suggested perhaps a third pot to create the trio here, and I feel like with the tractor seat, I might not even need a third pot. I think we might be good. So I'll take, you know, a little bit of rock. Now this rock that I'm getting into right now is not the same rock that I used yesterday. It's not the chamois beige. This is actually Cali Gold. But that's the fun of it, you know, when it's your own garden and I don't have to impress anybody but myself. I can do what I want. So I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to throw down some Cali Gold in here. I like to work with what I've got on hand. That's one of the charms of my garden. It's just a hodgepodge of basically all the misfit toys. But when you put them all together, it's just made magic. Okay. No, the bag's too... Greg says bring the bag over. The bag's too heavy. And then I'm going to take some of the black, the little black rock, and sprinkle that on too. And I guess what I'm doing is I'm making a custom top dressing mix, aren't I? Oh, yeah. I like that. And that works. I'm going to keep going with that with this little bit of black. I can push this all the way through. I have some continuity. Bam! Yes. Now, as we move... Where's my broom? Oh, here it is. As we move forward with Walkabout Wednesdays, you will all be able to join me in watching how these plants over here mature and grow, and I'll let you know when it's time to pull them out for adoption. And, you know, I'm pretty good. I'm not real sentimental for the most part about things. Because when I get into a project, that's everything. It doesn't matter what's mine. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters except making the project everything that it can be. I just get in that headspace. So even this Perry, which I am kind of sentimental about because this is one of my favorite succulents and it's the only one I have in my garden. If the opportunity presents itself, I wouldn't hesitate to dig that up and pop it in a client's garden. You know, meanwhile, every time I do take something out, it just opens up a space potentially for something new. So that helps too. Ease the heartbreak just a little bit when I pull something out. These gutters here, are you all dealing with spider webs right now too? Once the spiders have moved on, if you don't see any actual spider activity, you can go ahead and take a broom or a brush, you know, and clean off all that webbing. If I see an active spider, I'll leave it because they are really great because they're a beneficial. The spiders don't hurt your plants at all, but they do hurt the bugs that hurt your plants. So we want those spiders in our garden. But what I don't like is the leftover webs. And so this, you know, these are the full sun gutters. And this ocularia isn't looking great. I'm not loving this. This is kind of a hot mess. Look at all that dead. And I don't know that it's really worth trying to clean all that up. So next time we do a walkabout, you may not see this. This might be gone and there might be something else in its place. With all of these sedums having been in here for so long, they're creating kind of a spilling effect, even though technically they're not garden spillers. So, you know, I don't necessarily think I need a bunch of stuff hanging over the edge. This Ruchia in here too is not doing well. This was just a cutting and it looks kind of dried up and crappy. So that might also go because I have a few leftover sedums that are really, really pretty that I would like to tuck in to just enjoy the season because this is just such a magnificent time. So this has been me in my garden with our Walkabout Wednesday. Keep those comments and suggestions and questions coming. I absolutely love it. I read comments as many as I can, and you know, I put a little heart next to them after I've read them. So know that you are heard and you are seen, you are loved, and you are appreciated. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with Walkabout Wednesday and your succulent tip of the day. Until tomorrow.